Welcome back. Something's coming. What do I mean? Something big. We're birthing something big right now. Every summer, without fail, this feeling occurs. We're gearing up for something. Something's coming. Something's being prepared. We're birthing something great. It's always the end of August, September that this just kind of energetically. And then I feel around late fall into early winter. The reaping energy comes. We'll talk about that in fall. Let's talk about this summer stuff. Now, it's extensive this year, emotional healing wise. I also believe if you've been on the healing journey, you've been in therapy, or you've been working with a coach or a healing situation, like group program, whatever. If you've been, or just on your own, if you've been just committed to this idea, this ideology of the healing journey, this summer, if you've been on this summer, I feel like is the major pullback of the arrow before being let go. This happened in the beginning of my journey, and then the subsequent summers, a little bit of that feeling, but it wasn't this. It was not this feeling of like dramatic change. Things have aligned to an extent that we can invite in this dramatic change. Why am I thinking like this? Why am I feeling? My spirit is showing it to me. Like, I'm crying a lot. I'm crying about stuff I should have cried about at 10, 11, 12, bro. I'm crying. And then, pause, comma, experiencing the suppressed memories from then early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s. And my friend and I have talked about this, where I've noticed that there's sometimes it can be compartmentalized when you're going down the healing road intentionally, right? Like, I'm going to focus on my childhood and then like focus on what comes after next, blah, blah, blah. And typically it's been like that for me ever since I started compartmentalizing through the mark, map, move technique, because it's almost like an onslaught if you don't do that. So for the last like 8 years, this has been working very well for me. And I have not been feeling that onslaught. And, this summer, though, oh, nah. It's all in the same pool. Granted, your past, present, and future is all existent within the present. It's within right now. And it's almost like this soup of feelings that it is not compartmentalized. Because, like, I haven't really felt that about my childhood for the last like 5 years. It's been going really well. Like I thought, like I did a lot of that healing and that work, and I did, and that's what unlocked more painful memories from my 20s, because you see the cycles that you're repeating that you've learned in your childhood. And it was like, everything makes sense. This is over here, and that caused that, and now I can conceptualize it, wrap it up in a bow, and kick it out. Like, it is gone. I learned it. I made it into a gift of a learning lesson, and we passed it on. But now, it's not about the lessons. It's not about the application of knowledge. It's hard for me to say that, because this is like a channeled feeling, and logically I want to say that that's it, because that's typically the go-to for overcoming and healing your past, is learning that lesson and then applying it into your future and changing the past by making a difference in your present. That's not really the case lately. I don't know if anyone else has been experiencing it, but apparently we just gotta feel the bubbling soup of emotions, the primordial ooze of who you are, is all just right here. It's humbling. It's slowing me down. I'm more present, but I'm also way more aware of shit, which is also deepening those deep feelings and those deep emotions. Because I feel like I see everything and no, not everyone else does. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, and then especially when anyway, the observation is insane. And you feel it in your chest first. And it's like, I'm so aware of all the energy around me, but it doesn't match the words that are coming out of people's mouths. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Like, everything feels fake and surface level. Like, am I even a real person? Are you even a real person? And I'm like having these thoughts at like a family reunion. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's just enjoying talking about like surface level things that they enjoy. And I'm over here like, am I real? Are you real? Is this happening? It's a weird feeling, but it's almost, I know that it's a shift, an energetic shift, and there's a new evolution coming, because why else would I be feeling like that over here? And it's always when I'm like over here observing where I think I should be that I then recognize we're on a trajectory that is just different, different direction, further direction, whatever it is. It's just not. It's leaving the reality plane almost. It's almost making everything seem so freaking. Is the word inconsequential? I'm not sure if that's the right word, but it's just making everything feel just kind of like unreal, which is a blessing and a curse, because the blessing part of it is if everything's unreal, then you can create whatever you want. Correct? Yeah, right. If nothing's real anyway, sorry, making a mess. If nothing's real anyway, then what's it matter? Right? Do what you want. Create what you want. But then at the other end, it's like, then what's the point? That's the dangerous thought. I have that sometimes too, and then I ball up on the ground and I cry, because it's obviously not the answer. The answer is not then what's the point. It's to see this empty canvas and become excited with potential, possibility, opportunity, right? And it's hard because right now what the energy is feeling like is a little of that hopeless vibe in a way. Hopeless because like I'm feeling personally overrun by the distorted thoughts and emotions. Like, yeah, triggers for me used to be I literally fight or flight. Mostly fight, not proud of that, but whatever. And now I've learned not to do that anymore. That was my initiative for the last X amount of years. And now we're not doing that. And now it's like a whole nother realm of triggering, because I'm not being triggered into fight or flight. I'm being triggered into swirling thoughts of chaos and destruction, swirling hole in the middle of the ocean, just sucking down ships and people. Like, the imagery is what I feel in my chest, and it's just and yeah, what do you do with that, right? I've had that feeling before, so I'm not accustomed to it. I'm just shocked that it's taken the place of my typical fight or flight response, and now it's just gaping chest hole, ocean pouring chest hole. Like that. But it feels better than it had before. I don't know. This is weird to explain because these are like images that come along with feelings when I process emotions. They're like images. So the image is a lot better. It's not as like, it doesn't, yeah, if Up here, it feels hopeless. But this thing don't know it all, okay? This thing just knows what you train it to know, what you download onto it. So, from past experiences with my mental health, this thing is alerting, nervous, scary, whatever. But emotionally, I am feeling these phrases. Ready? The arrow gets pulled back before it's shot forward. Regrowth of a forest after a forest fire. What's another one I thought of? Like the calm after a storm. Right? What these images and these words are just like berating into me anytime I have these swirling like feelings of out of control emotional processing, because like they're not from here, they're from there, they're right. And this time though, I don't feel like I'm just sinking out to sea. I'm not just suckholing into this spiral water death trap, you know? That's how I felt in the beginning. But now, from experiencing this healing journey and these processes and these levels and these things that are happening, I now know for a fact that when everything starts to fall apart, feeling like on the inside, is when everything's actually coming together. That you're shedding old beliefs and values and ideologies that no longer serve the person you are today. Now, why are we experiencing such rapid change now? Now, I can speak on a personal level about this, and I've also seen a lot of my clients also experiencing this throughout the last year, so I wonder if it's a more universal thing, if you guys are experiencing it as well. But over this past year, a lot of us who've been on this journey, who've come from PTSD and trauma, we've been on this healing journey for a while, this last year had a lot to do with relationships, cutting out, being let down, being shown the true character of the people that we considered our support, or we considered the people in our lives, and there was a falling away of illusion, and now we're seeing reality, and that caused a big shift within how we approach our new relationships and how we want to nurture and grow these new relationships, in turn making this entire year one of letting go of recognizing illusion relationships and then fostering strengthened relationships that are actually going to meet you as deeply as you've met yourself. Now, with that unlocks an entire vault of healing that's been waiting for you to have the support. Our souls don't want us to fail. Our souls try the hardest, in my opinion, to try and work with us when it comes to these healing experiences. For example, it's like when you're feeling like, oh my God, this is so hard for me to process right now and move through. It's actually meant for you to do at that moment. That the universe has shifted and aligned with you in such a way that this is the time that you can handle healing and processing and having these aha moments of realization from the past, from the present, and putting these things together. Like, you now have the support. If you only have surface level connections in your life, the underneath of your iceberg, the tip that's always showing, but the part that's under the surface, it doesn't exist. I mean, it does. It's you. But how many times? It's not coming up. It's not a part of your life. You keep that vault shut. And in turn, you are heavier energetically. Because vaults are made out of heavy metal. And locks and bolts and pulleys and shit. So, like, you're dragging around a vault of who you are because you have not yet met the depths of others to an extent that you know they can meet you that deeply. And you don't even realize that extent. You just, I knocked it up to just no one goes in that vault. That's fine. That's my thing. I blame myself oh, well, I'm the one who went through all the trauma. I shouldn't have to traumatize other people with my trauma. Put it in the vault. I'll deal with it alone. But your mind will only allow you to handle some of that alone. There's not a lot of that you can handle alone. I don't think we're supposed to handle it all alone. That's what I'm starting to see now. But this is the first time since I began my healing journey where I've had consistent depth in the people around me, where they can meet me there every time and I can meet them there, and it doesn't feel one-sided. It doesn't feel like, oh my gosh, I'm such a burden. I mean, it does when I'm breaking down crying. I'll say those things, but it's not true. I know I'm not a burden anymore because my friends have gone through the same shit, in different fonts. And it's you don't have to say, oh, how's your day? Oh, it's great. Everything's so good. And no, I could be you know what? Healing journey's been a little rough. Had a rough nightmare last night and I'm processing it today. I was a little rude to myself and today I'm going to implement more self-care. Those are the conversations I will only have now. Because any other is a waste of your energy and your time. Because you're just closing the vault back up so you can... And talk about the weather? Oh, yeah. It's been real great. Nah, dude. Nah. And I guess that's what you would call small talk. I don't know. Because I don't have small talk. I have small jokes of connection that I make with random strangers throughout the day, right? You just you see what they're doing, and you see how what you're doing relates to what they're doing, and then you say a funny joke about it, hey, gotta blah, blah, blah before we blah, 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 right? You know what I'm saying? And then, we know what I'm saying. And then we laugh and we walk away. That's my jive. But if one more person asks me just how are you doing? Bro, what do you mean, how am I doing? How are you doing? Isn't there a multifaceted complexity of what that is? How are we doing? Or do some people really just experience just good? And they're just yeah, it's great. Got my oil changed yesterday. I don't know. I'm not one of those people, so I can't speak for them. I cannot understand that. I don't get that. And if there people are out there that can honestly just say everything's great and enjoy that conversation, good for you. But I'm not one of those people, and I'm not going to constantly lie to myself or the freaking humanity about who I am. Next time someone asks me how I'm doing, I'm going to be well, I've just been soul searching the depths of myself, but I found some things I didn't know were in there, but we're working on it, and we're doing well. We're having a tea party with some demons. We're integrating some things. How about you? Because I do that. I did that at my hairstyle. Did that last time I got a haircut. And I could tell that that's definitely not what they're used to receiving as responses. And that's fine. No one treated me with adverse. You could just tell that that's not typically the back and forth. And I'm sure I don't go into salons often. This is the first time in my life I'm making regimented hair appointments and taking care of that whole realm. And I do feel kind of out of place when I walk in there. Because it's yeah, how are you doing? How's your job? And you're just I woke up in the middle of the night sweating my ass off from a nightmare. Kind of want to talk about that, And it's and I'm starting to realize this, it's not a separation per se. It's just a different frequency, a different, and I don't always want to be that serious of a person. But I also don't want to be a liar. Yeah, how's it been? Well, the last month I've been crying a lot. I don't need you to feel bad. I'm not looking for you to solve it. I'm just answering honestly. And there's something about that that's wrapped up. That right there, that figuring out of things, is wrapping up with why we're going through all of this, and then the arrow being shot. Like, that, all of this is together, right? Like, we have no tolerance for surface level friendships anymore. We have no tolerance or energy for fake faces or masking or whatever, because it's not just neurodivergence and autism spectrum where people mask. You also mask when you know no one would understand that right here you're replaying getting the shit beat out of you, but right here you're like, yeah, the day is great, the sun is shining. Like, it's and like, so you mask and you pretend and you're like, it's fine, but then you create this space between you and the person, because first of all, you're fucking lying, and it's very obvious. It is. You can feel that in a person's chest. And whether or not they recognize that you're doing it from an avoidance of, expressing a deep wound, or they will put their own narrative to it and just be like, oh, she doesn't like me, she doesn't consider me whatever, a trusted person, or they'll just be like, oh, she's mean, she's quiet, she's standoffish, she's annoying, she's got this, she's got that, whatever. But that happens with trauma healing. It just does. And I'm noticing it the more I talk to other people that experience these same kinds of things, that we do that. We do that. And we think we're doing a service to the people around us because we're not just, bombing them with just whatever, but in reality, we're allowing them a blank piece of paper to write whatever narrative that they're sensing off of our withdrawn response. I don't know about you guys, but I can sense right away who you are. And then if your words don't match, that freaks me out. I'm out of here. And right. It doesn't mean you're maniacal, malicious, or bad. But to me, that's a red flag. And that's what it comes up as with you towards others as well. And I'm starting to, this whole summer has been basically about abolishing the stigma of the mental health journey and the healing journey. It's not just online comments and TikToks. It can be real life now, guys. COVID's over. Why can't we carry into our new public scenarios what we've learned during COVID? I'm sure you've learned these things. I did this during COVID. I got on the online, and we're talking about that. You're finding groups about the healing journey. You're joining energetic groups and universal awareness groups and all this stuff. You're deepening your knowledge, deepening your learning. And then COVID ended, and we were all just like, oh, we're actually not that deep. We're actually just here for the fun because we don't want to always be that deep or whatever. But we did ourselves a disservice, an injustice. Why did COVID happen? I believe for that reason. And then we stopped carrying through because we got all of our amenities back, and we were just like, all right, back to the mask. Back to I'm good, and because we just want to have fun. We don't want to ruin the good times. But you're not ruining shit. All you're doing is put a pause button on humanity's evolutionary growth when you think about it. And it's like I know you all know, but why don't talk about it? If I'm at an event and I've got my life coaching little description out and sign ups for people, we talk about it, right? Or even if we don't talk about that, people just picking up crystals they're drawn to, and I tell them what that crystal is about, and then they're like, holy crap, it's exactly what's going on in my inner world, and I never talk about it. How did you know? And I'm like, I didn't. You knew, and that's why you were drawn to that crystal. Isn't that cool? And then that gets the ball rolling. Those are the only conversations I want to have. Either that or making plans about horseback riding or sharing funny stories or filling each other in on our weeks or whatever, but real life with reality, because there is a divide happening right now, between, like, oh, I hate using these terms, but like the matrix and reality. There just is. There just is. There's the illusion and then the reality. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel really far away from the illusion. And anytime I put myself here for the sake of fun or connection or whatever, just for like, just because, I feel like I'm in the matrix. Like I know everything's fake and nothing is real and we're all just talking about something super surface. And it's like, I know it shouldn't be that deep, I guess. No, it is that deep. And, and I talked to my dad on the phone about this and he's like, yeah, not everybody's just that deep. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Don't you just feel lonely about it sometimes? And he was like, yeah, I've been like that though since a kid. Like he's been alone with it. And I'm like, all right, granted, like, you're right. Like, you and I have always had that connection of depth. So I always saw that in my father growing up and didn't feel so alone when I started to observe and create perspectives that were outside of what my peers were seeing. I was like, well, it makes sense because that's how my dad is, right? But, like, he didn't have that. So he's like, yeah, I got accustomed to it a while ago, And I'm like, okay, all right, that's actually helpful because it's nice to know that I won't always be feeling like I need to rip my skin off when I sit in the illusion. I don't think it needs to be that uncomfortable. Like I should be able to handle, cause sometimes you gotta, right? Like sometimes you just have to. I mean, I guess you don't, but like out of the sake of like dabbling in societal importance or whatever. I don't know how to explain it. Family expectation, And like I should be able to just like for a barbecue, but it's just hard, okay? And something about this summer is just ripping that illusion away. And it's showing that the only thing that is real is the depths and the struggle and the hard. And I'm not saying only look at those things. No. It's just like if those things aren't happening to you right now, then I feel you are in the illusion. Because if you're in the reality, like look at the movie The Matrix. When they were in the real world after the machines had taken over and they're all living on those ships, it was hard. It was a struggle. They didn't have food like that. They had like gruel and shit, And like that's almost how it feels. Like, everything's fake. And, like, thinking about how much of our processed foods are fake and, like, how many people are now getting fake lip fillers and fake boobs and fake this and fake that. Like, there's just so much fake going on around here that it is feeling like that. And then the people who choose to stick into the reality, to the realness, the rawness, we're eating some grits, And it makes you a different person. It does. You're less frivolous. You're more serious about certain things. Like, you take no shit about certain things. If someone crosses a value of yours, you're like, yeah, no, dude, I don't agree with that. I'm not doing that. Okay, so I went to the lake with some friends and they're not very, they're I see them sometimes. We don't see each other a lot. And I forgot that the one friend, she smokes cigarettes, right? So she pulled out the pack, and I've been feeling down lately. I've been in the real world a little too long. Been eating those grits. So I thought for a split second, I was like, girl, I almost bummed at one of those from you because, like, shit, why not? But I can't. Because it's not just, oh my God, let me just get a drag. Like, oh my God, remember when like we used to smoke? Oh yeah, that's so funny. I'm just never going to do that again. Blah, blah, blah. Have a great day. No, that'll like ruin the fabric of the reality I've created. Like that would like throw me out of alignment with my highest self and I wouldn't attract what I need in my life. Like it's that deep. It's not just fun and games. It's not just surface level. It's not just slick backs and lip filler. Like, I can't. And I feel so alone when I'm around all of that. But I know y'all are out there. I know. But it's like every year, every summer that we go through this transformation, I personally move further away from like who I used to be in the way of like, I engaged everything, man. I would have full-fledged conversations with everybody. I would try to like tell everyone about the universe and everyone about the healing journey and like, oh, I was so excited. I had all this energy, but then I would burn out and then I'd be crying and then I'd be this and then I'd be that. And I attracted shitty relationships and people who only wanted to just gain from me, like energetic vampires, blah, 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 blah. And the more I go through these energetic transformations each summer, the more quiet I become. It's blowing my mind to sit there and observe someone else being who I used to be. I witnessed that a couple weeks ago at an event, and she was so excited, wanted to be friends, like everybody exchanged numbers. I'm like, I'm never gonna see you again. That's just reality. I'm not gonna call you. I've done so many events the last 5 years of my life, and in the first 4, you say that. You're like, I'm going to take your card. We're going to totally do this. We're going to blah, 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 blah. And like maybe 3% of that actually happened. And yeah. So like you learn, it's just like this. It's just this reality check. Yo, thank you, but I'm probably not going to hit you up. It's not rude. It's not mean. It's just reality. And I don't have time to lie to you, lie to myself, place a hanging responsibility over myself. Like, you know what I mean? And the more that I'm withdrawing from these certain ways of being, the stronger I'm becoming with my personal power. However, that's then being kind of rubbed up against the fact that my mind also feels like it's falling apart. But, like, things fall apart when they're about to come together. And, so I know it's all good. But it's like, I have all this personal power, but then at the same time, I'll be in a bout of crying in my partner's chest, telling him, I'm sorry, I know that you wouldn't say this about me, but right now, I feel like a burden. You know? And I even said to him, I was like, usually this doesn't last this long. I feel like it's been going on, like, months. And I was like, and I understand and I appreciate, you know, the support, the encouragement, just kind of being there, not freaking out at me, whatever. But yeah, you do. It's hard not to. It's hard not to feel that way. But I'm glad that it's at a point where I know I'm not. I know I'm not a burden. I know that these people love me. They wouldn't be in my life for this long if they didn't care, you know. And I've gotten so much better at communicating the things and getting you know, just better at it. So it's not as burdensome as I know he's seen it before. And it's just this awareness where I'm just like, it's basically me saying thank you, like, because I know this is tough. It's freaking tough for me, bro. So I know it's rough. And it's just appreciative. Instead of making him the enemy, which he would have been 5-6 years ago, now it's more, let's just sit down and communicate. I'm going through some things. I'm holding on to some toxic thoughts that don't support me. And I'm just going to get them out, cry, and then move on. And I think that is the personal power. You're not weak. You're not broken. I think it takes an immense amount of power to be able to say, I know none of this is true, and I just am feeling these personal truths based off of old belief systems, and I just want to get them out of myself so that they can go onto the curb, bring him out with the rest of the trash Wednesday night, you know what I'm saying? But if I keep holding on to them, you know what I'm telling myself? Those beliefs are valuable when they deserve to be in the trash. And that takes power. Oof. I needed to hear myself say that because it's been a rough one. It's been a rough handful of weeks to months. And yeah, it's just like this awareness now. I'm like, yeah, this sucks. I don't like this feeling. This isn't great, but this is attached to a belief I know is not true in my soul, but my brain is trying to fight my soul, fight my heart. And so I'm going to say them out loud, which is basically like me taking out the trash, or I'm going to journal it down, taking out the trash, so that I'm not telling my energetic self, my soul and my heart, that these beliefs are so valuable that I deserve to keep carrying them and dragging them through the vault of my life, the carrying them with the vault in my life. No. When you hold things in, when you protect them like that, when do you do that ever, like in reality? When you protect something, let's say like a child, it's because you don't want the child to, like, the child's valuable. You don't want something to happen to the child. You honor the child or whatever. I don't have kids, so it's hard to use an analogy. But like, let's say, I don't know, you want to protect. You get what I'm pointing. So when you place a level of protection over something, you're creating value in that thing. So you must value the outdated belief. And now you're integrating that outdated belief into the energy system that's already evolved past it. And then that's creating confusion. That's creating friction and resistance. Stop teaching yourself that these outdated beliefs are valuable. They're not. They don't need to be on the shelf in your mind anymore. Get them out. Take out the trash. You got trusted people now. Take out the freaking trash. And if you don't, hit me up. You know what I'm saying? Just take it out. Get it out. Get it out. If you hold trash in your house, you're telling yourself that's not trash, that's decor. So what's your energetic self thinking about the values, the outdated beliefs that you're holding in yourself? What are you teaching that? That the trash is actually treasure. And you're manipulating yourself into remaining stuck and stagnant. So the more that you are doing the processes of expelling and falling apart and all of that, it's to build yourself back up from the evolved place that you have become. And I'm telling you, we all have, because that's been happening ever since this summer shift. Ever since the summer equinox, we have all had DNA upgrades and molecular changes and downloads to our processing system. We have. I ask people who don't even know about this world, people who kind of like look at me funny when I bring up words like niche or whatever. And I say, and I'm like, so, like, this is how I broach, like, randoms, right? I'm like, you've been feeling extra emotional lately? Kind of like more than most? Kind of like almost out of control? Haven't felt yourself like this in a real long time? Like, and I just, like, list off all these, like, symptoms. And I'm telling you, even the people who are unaware are going through it. But if you're aware, apply it. Be intentional. Move with it. Act on it. Journal some shit. Get with it, right? So that you don't have to do this again next summer. Next summer, you build off of this summer. I want to say I can't wait for fall. But right after fall begins, November happens, and that's Scorpio season, where I believe we are going to revisit a lot of what we've been experiencing the last month. Because it's another water season, but it's also associated with a deep, thrumming determination to heal. So I say journal what you're going through, meow, right, meow, so that in November we can then continue that journaling, mark, mat, move it, put some pieces together, and take out more trash. Fill up contractor bags worth of trash in your mind and get rid of them. Because they're no longer going to serve the person you've evolved into. And if you don't recognize that and take advantage of that, you will repeat the cycle. No pressure, though. It's not like you don't need to go climb Mount Everest to solidify this change. It's simple as getting the trash out of your mind, the beliefs that no longer serve you. And it's hard. It's easier said than done. And then just be that whole thing. Oh my gosh. Sorry I eye rolled about that. It is helping me a lot with reconnecting to my presence and my mindfulness and my soul. And it is helping me a lot. It's just there's this resistance between wanting to control and thinking the control is needed to keep me safe. And also then trusting that without the control, I will still remain safe. that I've done enough in my own personal energetic grid work that I'm gonna still be safe. Like, it's all gonna be good. So, but we're getting a lot better at it, I'm telling you. So I know that we're all transforming right now. And I urge you to make notes like this, you know, like processes like this where you recognize and you take that awareness and you have that intentional moment, because then it'll be steps and not just like the swirling death hole of the ocean, the Bermuda Triangle. All right, really wanted to tell you guys that today because this only happens when something big is coming, man. Like, and like, honestly, I'd be more concerned if I wasn't going through these feelings. Because, like, I am noticing small changes already that are going to support my heart and soul more. With more love, more acceptance, more comfort, more enjoyability. Like, I sense all of that. I can see this is happening. Just gotta go with the flow. Just another tagline that's easier said than done. Like, I'm better. Well, it's been a handful of years, but I'm pretty sure I'm better at surfing and skating than I am at riding the healing journey flow. Anyway, because I used to always like relate it to that, like, you know, surfing, like you just get on the board and you ride the board, you ride the wave with the board, like you're not resisting, you're not fighting, like you just get on the wave and the wave takes you, man, and you just gotta balance, you just gotta make sure you don't fall off, but the wave takes you the distance, and it's like, I feel like I'm falling off, you know? Emotionally, like I'm falling off the board, I'm hitting like the sandbar, I'm scraping myself up on the coral, but that's all for a reason, and we'll figure it out. I'm sensing it. It's just funny. I like the catastrophizing thoughts are it's funny, like they're funny because like I haven't experienced this in a really long time, and I really do believe it's because I can finally open the vault. I finally have like a family around, like my friends of that chosen family, and then also having these open conversations with my dad because I know I'm a lot like him is like I'm able to open that vault. I don't even realize how long it's been shut because in my mind it was like just get through the next responsibility and expectation that others have upon you, and like one day like you forget about the vault. You just forget. You can't open the vault and also, for instance, we were taking care of my boyfriend's grandma with dementia. I can't just open the vault and also take care of a sick old woman. Like, you just can't. I could not do those two. But my life and my relationship with my partner at the time were very strenuous. Not only because of that extra responsibility, but also for the fact that the vault is still there. And I'm still operating off the old beliefs. So the more I move away from the old beliefs, I do see a change in our home life and our connection. And it's interesting because, like, it's just, you figure... You just think that it's like you just don't realize that. You just don't. Like you stopped the wound. You're not bleeding all over everyone. You're not like out of control. But there's that deep vault that holds the deep cuts, the things that you've never told anyone. It's time to tell people or write them down. It's time. I don't want to carry it around anymore. I want the door open. Let's just do it. Wow, that just reminded me, I wrote a poem like that 8 years ago that said the vault was made of glass. The poem was stating that my personal vault at the time was made of glass, and all it took was for one surface level thing to take a sledgehammer to the glass. And now, then that was years ago. And now it's like, the vault is secure. I could go on fire, but that vault, See, I'm not as like, and you think, oh, that's great, right? No, because you made the vault heavier. Iron and metal is a lot heavier than glass. And like back then I looked at that fragility as weakness, but not like as weakness, but like vulnerability, right? Because like that was the imagery I had, was the sledgehammer thing. So it was like vulnerability, but also I was making surface level things become a sledgehammer attack. It's very poignant of a visual. And now I'm seeing the vault as like a solid black, like what you would typically see for like a bank or whatever, like a freestanding one though, maybe like a gun locker or something, but like, and I'm not that fragile. So I've told myself. But I am, because now I'm vulnerable because I'm dragging the vault around. So yeah, the vault might not shatter into a million pieces and I bleed all of my projections of my trauma onto the people around me. Right. Now I have the ability though, right, that won't happen. But now I have to take the opportunity that has been presented to open it myself. Not shatter it. Just open the door crack. Let out a couple things at a time. Like now that's also empowerment, like there's a difference now. It's not just like it can shatter and it go all over the place. It's like I have the ability to crack the vault, open the door, and start looking at this stuff and not feel like I'm gonna just lose it. I mean, I'm losing it, but not in that way, not in a glass shattered vault way, in a sledgehammered shattered vault. No, that's like really intense. It's like I know that this is a personal truth, and I know this is just a belief, an outdated belief, but I have to just tell you. See, it's different than before. It would have been no awareness of the outdated belief, no awareness of it being a personal truth. It would have just been my effing reality, and I would have projected that on everything around me, and I would have created that shitty reality right then and there. And that's what I was doing. I was circling over and over and over again. So at least now with this awareness, you could be like, I know that the vault is scary and big. I have awareness about it, but I want to open it. I want to go through these things. I know that there's trash and clutter inside that I need to get rid of. Having the awareness this time around when facing the vault is making it more healing, more intentional, more planned even. Not really, because sometimes it just happens, but I mean like planned in the way that like I know to reach out now. Like now it was a breath of fresh air that my friends kind of got a little like, why didn't you hit us up earlier? How about before you go down to this spiral and we see you like this, how about you hit us up earlier before you get this deep? And I'm like, that's an option? I thought I had to really be like on the verge of like right on the cliff to deserve support. No, you can ask for support back here. You could say I'm on my way to the cliff and people, right. And now I'm like, oh, that's cool. And it's making that vault less intimidating. And it's making it less like who I am. It's not who I am. It's outdated. And I gotta stop putting value in the outdated contents of the vault. All right. Have a wonderful day.